Hey guys, this is not the video that I wanted to make nor planned on releasing today. Happy Halloween. This is not going to be a cool, spooky, scary video. This is going to be a video that is, I'm going to be honest, quite depressing, but last night some pretty major news broke, and given obviously the fact that a lot of what we cover here is Halo and also Marathon, I need to cover it. I need to talk about it. I need to give my 2 cents because it's cataclysmic, to put it lightly. I'm sure you've seen the title. Bungie, basically dead at this point. Last night, major news broke about a huge layoff at Freudian slip at Bungie, which, I mean, given the year, is unfortunately commonplace. It's absolutely awful. The layoffs have hit the community team, the social team, marketing, publishing, art, QA, support, legal, HR, production, and likely so many more teams. I truly feel for every single developer that, again, it's so scummy, man. Right before Christmas, is told they no longer have a job, just like that. But probably the largest, most aggressive kick in the teeth from these layoffs is they laid off Mike Salvatore. Mike Salvatore, the other part of Marty's duo, who is responsible for all of Halo's soundtracks, all of Destiny's soundtracks, and even Bungie soundtracks before Halo in the 90s. Michael and Marty were like the duo. Obviously, other people helped as well on Halo soundtracks and other soundtracks like Myth, but Marty and Michael were the duo. Michael was the last part of that duo left over at Bungie, and even somebody as Veteran, who has created so much of the soul of Bungie as a studio as Michael, even someone like him apparently isn't immune to layoffs, which I think is frankly disgusting. He updated his website last night, removing all references to Bungie and replacing it with Gone Fishing, which is... to me, this is... I mean, Bungie have not been the Bungie that we Halo people remember for a very long time, but I mean, at this point, any semblance of that Bungie is dead. Flat out dead. And firing Mike, of all people, that was the final nail in the coffin. That was it. Over the last decade, we've had, unfortunately, the displeasure of sitting here watching the old Bungie, the old soul of Bungie that was there throughout all the Halo games, get slowly chipped away at by corporate suits and Grima Wormtongue-esque bullshit. I mean, obviously they screwed over Marty, Marcus went, Joe went, Jamie went, countless other Bungie veterans and grizzled ancients went, and now Mike is like, I mean, how do you lay off Michael Salvatore? I don't get it. The Bungie that we all loved is dead and gone, and it's not coming back. The soul and the camaraderie that Bungie had, that kind of familial feeling that the studio had during the Halo era and right at the start of the Destiny era, kind of, not as much as Halo, is complete history at this point. It's so far in the rear view that it may as well never ever even existed. And you know what? I really... it just leaves such a sour taste in my mouth that whilst people are still finding out that they no longer have a job, their likely dream job. I guarantee most people working at Bungie, that was their dream job. Hell, when I was like 5 years old, I wanted to work for Bungie. That was my dream. And I guarantee a lot of the people that got laid off yesterday and probably also today were the same. And whilst they're finding out that their dream job is no more, you've got fucking asshole CEOs posting this shit on Twitter. The people that are responsible for these layoffs posting this shit on Twitter. But don't worry, I'm sure the CEOs and the executives, I'm sure all their bonuses will still be intact. I'm sure they'll still get their Christmas bonuses. Their high, massively inflated salaries, they'll still be there, don't you worry. But all the people that actually make the studio and that make the games that create those bonuses and salaries, nah, they're expendable. When Bungie were bought out by Sony last year for, I think it was $3.7 billion, so, you know, just couch change at this point for the industry, apparently a load of the Bungie leadership got together and reassured the developers that the buyout would not result in any layoffs or restructuring, because a lot of the time what happens when a studio gets bought out by a major publisher is that studio is basically broken down, it's dissolved, and all the developers are sent off to work at other studios within the publisher's realm. Bungie, the leadership, assured the developers that this wouldn't happen, and here we are, less than 2 years later, the studio is getting hit by a massive, huge layoff. And also apparently as well, Destiny: The Final Shape. I don't play Destiny, so this doesn't really mean much to me, but The Final Shape, the big like DLC that's like the ending of the Destiny story that they started 10 years ago, and also Marathon as well, have been delayed. And of course they've also laid off Mike Salvatore. I just find it infuriating that with how good 2023 has been for games, it's being heralded as like one of, if not the greatest year for games in the history of the entire industry. Even a year like that is not immune to layoffs. This year has been plagued by layoffs across the entire gaming industry and also tech industry, despite, in the gaming industry, revenue being $188 billion, up 2.6% over last year, and also console sales up 7.4% over last year as well. Despite that, despite record profits and increases in profits, doesn't matter, there's still layoffs. 2023 should have been like 2007 2.0 for being such a good year for games, but instead it's going to be looked back on as a year that is almost emblematic of everything that is wrong with the modern gaming industry. A year so bad that not even industry and specific developer, game and studio veterans aren't safe. Joe Staten wasn't safe, and now Mike Salvatore isn't too. Oh, but don't worry. The executives, they're never going to get laid off. You're never going to hear about an executive getting laid off. Hell, if Bobby Kotick can't get laid off, they're never, ever going to get laid off. Ever. They'll still sit there, they'll get their cushy bonuses and paychecks, whilst playing Grim Reaper, getting rid of the very people who create those salaries and create those bonuses, and the soul of the studios. Executives in this industry, for the most part, are fucking rats. Gaming is a business. It always has been, and profit is important. However, you got to control how much profit is important. And nowadays, I mean, the art form may as well just be pushed all the way to the side. It's like 1% focus on art form, 99% focus on profit maximization. They're the ones responsible for item stores and microtransactions and the aggressive, intrusive monetization that comes into games and long-standing franchises and erodes so many core features. They're the ones that even the developers want to do that. Developers don't want to do that. It's executives that force them to do that for profit margins. These people don't care about gaming as an art form. Gaming isn't an art form to them. They don't even play games. I guarantee a large number of shareholders, executives, and heads of major studios that have ordered these layoffs probably don't even play their own games. I doubt they even know a single thing about them, and yet here they are ordering layoffs, and I could rant about this forever. What it comes down to is that the gaming industry is making unheard of levels of money and profit, and regardless of that, these layoffs still keep happening. You know, I really do feel for people that either want to get into game dev or are already in game dev, because this industry, I mean, if there's no job security in a year as good as 2023 for games, then truly there never will be job security at this point. I mean, how can you have faith that your job is secure if after a year as good as this, you still get laid off? There are definitely still some outliers in the industry. I mean, I think of studios like From Software, Kojima Productions, Battlestate Games, who make Tarkov, Remedy, who make Alan Wake and Control and Max Payne, etc. But it just feels like a lot of the AAA industry is just so rotten to the core with corporatism at this point that I don't know how it comes back from this. I genuinely don't. Like, if I've said it 1,000 times, if a year as good as this is going to be hit by layoffs as bad as it has been, then I don't even know what to say anymore. So I'll stop the ranting there. One final thing though, right? 343, you have an opportunity right now to do something that you should have done for basically every old Bungie grizzled veteran that has left Bungie or whatever over the last God knows how many years with Mike. You need to hand Mike Salvatore a blank check to get him to come back to Halo. This is, unfortunately, a really good opportunity to get him back in Halo. I mean, I think everyone could say that they'd want Mike back in Halo, so now is the chance. 343, jump on this. Get Mike back on Halo. Hand the man the blank check that he deserves and get him to come back. So with that said, no outro for this one. I'm going to round it out. New video coming in a few days, and then a few days after that. So thank you all for watching, I guess. Everyone affected by these layoffs, genuinely, I feel for you. It's awful. It really is. This shouldn't be happening with how the industry is now. There's no reason for this to be happening. Yeah, I'll catch you all on the next one.